Hello, welcome. My name's Susie, and today we are going to look at what my book of the month is. So I think Book of the Month Club is pretty cool. It's been around for I think almost 100 years or something really neat like that. And basically you get the option of 5 different books, and then you can choose which one you want. It's $15 and they send it to your house, and then sometimes they'll include little like extra things like a bookmark or something like that, you know, cute things. So you just can go online, and they usually have a variety of genres you can choose from. Then you choose your book, they send it out, and you've got a new good read for the rest of the month. And if you don't want to get any of those books, you can just skip a month and you can try again in the next month and see if you like any of those books. So before we look and see what book I've got, let's go through the options that they had this time for February. So the first option was a contemporary fiction. It was called The Kindest Lie by Nancy Johnson. And I think that one followed a girl who goes to her hometown, and there was like, I don't know, some stuff in her past that she's going to confront or whatever and work through. So that was the first option. It's something that I would read, but it wouldn't be like the first thing I would pick up to read. You know what I'm saying? Then the one after that was a suspense, and that was like my second choice. I like psychological thrillers, suspense, mystery kind of reads a lot. I also really like historical fiction. But that suspense novel was called Girl A by, who was it by? Abigail Dean. And that was a debut novel. So this is going to be her first one. She's getting it out there and using the book of the month to find some readers. And I'm pretty sure that one followed a girl, and there was like some sort of suspense with like a family drama, some trauma, something happened, and that was going to follow that story. The next option after those first two was, I think, a literary fiction called Infinite Country, and that was by Patricia Engel. That story, I really am not 100% sure. I think it's an early release, which is really cool. Sometimes they will have like debut authors, early releases. I think that people have gotten signed to books in the past through this, so that's really kind of neat. But the Infinite Country is, I think, supposed to follow like multiple generations of the same family. And I think they lived in Colombia in South America, and I think it just follows their like story of their family and different generations. I'm not sure if they are leaving Colombia or like what's going on exactly, because I'm not really super into that kind of story. Like, again, I would read it, but it's not going to be my first choice. So I didn't like read even the whole description. I kind of just brushed through it really quick, was like, nope, let's move along. But I think that it does follow multiple generations of the same Colombian family and like their life in Colombia, and whether or not somebody was leaving Colombia or whatever, everything they were doing. So that was option number 3. Option number 4 was a contemporary fiction as well. I think this one would be a bit of a lighter read. It was another debut. So it was called Honey Girl by Morgan Rogers. And it is a debut novel, and it follows, I think that it follows like a 20-something-year-old African-American girl, and she's a Virgo. And like, we know how Virgos can be. They're very abrupt, they're direct, they like to orchestrate things to run smoothly the way that they like things to be. And she gets married to somebody who is not a Virgo. And I think that it follows their wedding planning process and how that whole event can be, like, for a lot of people, it's like a big deal, and they want it to go the way they want it to go, and she's the bride, and I think she might be a little bridezilla about it because she's so Virgo. And it sounded like it was going to be like a funny kind of lighter read, so that would just be like a quick light, you know, sitting at the beach, hanging out with your coffee, something you could just read and kind of relax and laugh a little bit. And I do kind of like to read books that are like that every now and again, especially if you're going to read something that's a little heavier before that, then you can come out of that and read something a little bit lighter. So all in all, I think that those were all pretty good options. I would prefer to have read the suspense, maybe the lighter read, Honey Girl, over the contemporary fiction and the literary fiction, but I would also have read those. And so without any further ado, let's pop open my book of the month and see which one I read. And you can all laugh at me for not choosing the lighter read in this case. You open up the box, it says, "You've got great taste." book of the month. I've got a little bookmark here, Saved You a Spot. That's pretty cute. And the book that I chose was definitely not the lighter read this time. It's called The Four Winds, and it's a novel by Kristen Hanna. I think this is not the first time that she has been featured in Book of the Month Club. And if you didn't notice, this book's a little bit of a bigger book. I think that they said it was more than 400 pages. Yeah, it's 454 pages, so not exactly the lightest read. In the bottom of the box, I'll just show you really quick. It says share the love, get a free book for every friend that signs up through your referral link, Book of the Month Club /friends. Excellent. And I guess I can put that link down below if anyone else is interested in reading. No harm done. The back of the book, of course, is going to have the hi baby. Let me read you what this story is about. Also, I just figured I would mention I paid $15 for this, and this book retails for $29, and it's a nice hardcover book. And they always will be a nice hardcover book, so that's pretty cool. It says, from the #1 best-selling author of The Nightingale and The Great Alone comes a powerful American epic about love and heroism and hope set in the Great Depression, a time when the country was in crisis, when millions were out of work, and even the land seemed to have turned against them. My land tells its story if you listen, and this is the story of our family. It's in Texas, 1921, a time of abundance. The Great War is over, the bounty of the land is plentiful, and America is on the brink of a new and optimistic era. But for Elsa Wolcott, deemed too old to marry in a time when marriage was a woman's only option, the future seemed bleak. Until the night she met Ralph Martinelli, decides to change the direction of her life. With her reputation in ruins, there is only one respectable choice: marriage to a man that she barely knows. By 1934, the world has changed. Millions are out of work, and drought has devastated the Great Plains. Farmers are fighting to keep their land and their livelihoods as crops fail and water dries up and the earth cracks open. Dust storms roll relentlessly across the plains. Everything in the Martinelli farm is dying, including Elsa's tenuous marriage. Each day is a desperate battle against nature and a fight to keep her children alive. In this uncertain and perilous time, Elsa, like so many of her neighbors, must make an agonizing choice: fight for the land that she loves, or leave it behind and go west, to California in search of a better life for her family. Like the gold rush. The Four Winds is a rich, sweeping novel that suddenly brings to life the Great Depression and the people who lived through it, the harsh realities that divided a nation, and enduring battles that people have had between the haves and have-nots. A testament to hope, resilience, and strength for the human spirit to survive adversity, The Four Winds is an inedible portrait of American and the American dream, as seen through the eyes of one indomitable woman whose courage and sacrifice will come to define a generation. So, yeah, not exactly the lightest read, but again, a historical fiction is always my favorite read over any other kind of book. And this one kind of a little bit sort of reminds me of perhaps Gone with the Wind, which is one of my favorite books, favorite movies. I love it. I love it. It's just, I like the story. I know that a lot of people can't stand Scarlett O'Hara, but I think that she was ahead of her time, honestly. But whatever. Side note, this is definitely set a little bit closer towards now, but I guess if you think about it, it's not. Oh, that's so creepy. This is the 20s again, and the 20s wasn't like that far back in time, but now that's like 100 years. This is almost like 100-year-old in the past story. Like when I think of, oh my gosh, 100 years ago, I'm thinking, oh, this is like the 1800s or whatever. Welcome to 1901. That's so weird to think about. Wow. Okay. And then a little bit about the author. I'll just read that to you as well. It says that Kristen Hanna is the best-selling author for more than 20 novels, and she is a former lawyer that turned into a writer. She's a mother to one son and lives with her husband in the Pacific Northwest. And it does show on the inside all of her other novels that she's written. There's like these beautiful, at the beginning of the chapters, these beautiful little etchings, which is not really that common anymore in books that I've read anyway. They don't usually include that kind of stuff, so this is kind of like a little bit of a vintage, cute little extra thing that's in here. And it says, to damage the earth is to damage your children, which is very true. Even today, that still remains to be true. And in the 20s, 30s, when all of this was going on, the Great Depression, Dust Bowl, all of that sort of stuff, it damaged the earth and it ruined people's chances for their families and their children. And it's even true today, though. Like, if we don't take care of the earth that we live on, then we're not going to leave a good future for our children and their futures. So I just think that this is going to be like a really interesting read, especially considering that I'm studying that a little bit right now for school. We're going over like drastic changes to earth processes and things that have happened that kind of like shape our way that we live from nature, and vice versa, and how we interact with nature and what we do that changes it, like, you know, climate change and all that kind of sort of stuff. So this just might be kind of like an interesting read, and I kind of am looking forward to getting into this, even though it is like definitely not exactly a light read. It's gonna be a bit of a thinker, I think. Okay. Well, anyway, that is my book of the month for February. I am really looking forward to getting into it. If you've read anything from Christian Hannah before, like, comment down below and let me know. Or if you think that the other books sounded good as well, I might check a couple of them out of the library in a little bit later after I get caught up with some other reading that I have to do. I think next month I'm going to try to choose something that's either suspenseful or that's going to be like lighter and funny. Especially since like the last couple of books that I've chosen have been a little bit of a denser read. And I've just got a lot of homework and things going on, so a light read might be kind of nice to just kind of mix into the whole bunch. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. It would really make my day if you guys would like or subscribe. Definitely comment down below. I love a little book club sort of talk. And until I have another video up for you all to see, I will see you guys later. Bye!